So, dear students, we are in the fourth unit of disaster management subject, and for this presentation, we have taken up the components of disaster relief and institutional arrangements as our main topics of discussions. As you can see, whenever a disaster happens, a lot of panic and there is a lot of chaos. The normalcy of the life of people is affected badly. So the drinking water in terms of cyclones, earthquakes, or there can be any complex emergencies for that matter, because that is caused because of the crisis which is caused because of one or two disasters. So the basic amenities, the capacity building is very important. So having enough clean water, food, sanitation, shelter, health and waste management schemes, they are very much important. So the government has to plan accordingly and provide these benefits, these basic amenities available. It's the duty of the government, and also the public can join hands with the government in providing the basic facilities for the people. So emergencies and disasters can happen anytime, anywhere. It can affect human health. People's life and infrastructure will be badly affected, and after the disaster we have to build them. So its effects on physical, biological and social environment, it poses as a threat to human well-being and survival. So providing shelter, water, sanitation, there might be, in case of water-borne diseases, there might be disease vectors, pollutions might happen, and to save, it's our duty to save people from all these problems. Food is very important. Food is at the time of disaster or any crisis time, we have to be careful with the kind of food that is being provided to the people. So not everything, see, for example, if there is any disaster that is caused by water or after a flood washing away, or there's flooding in an area, so we have to throw away the food that we have come in contact with the flood or storm water. So perishable food that have not been refrigerated properly due to power outages might be there. So the public should not be put to a condition to use those remaining stuff. So the old ones which are out of date, and after tsunami or after a flood for that matter, so food that are not refrigerated cannot be given for people. That will only worsen the problem, and people will only develop other sicknesses because of this. So unsafe food must not be used at all, and even though it looks okay, smells okay, you just have to, when in doubt, you have to throw it out. So throw away the following foods that has an unusual color. If there is a change in color or texture of the food, throw it. It's better to discard it. Perishable foods include meat, poultry, fish and leftover foods in your refrigerator. So when the power is off for more than 4 hours or more, it is not advisable to eat. Food not in packages or in cans should be avoided at all costs. Canned foods or contained food that are bulging, that is open, that is damaged, we have to throw away the food, the containers, spurts, liquid or foam or when you have a foam and you open it, or the food inside is discolored, is moldy or smells bad, we have to be careful with the food that is available there or packaged items. So we have to throw away the food containers with screw caps, snap lids, crimped caps, twist caps, flip tops, snap open and foam can foods, cannot be disinfected. We cannot disinfect these things, so we have to throw away it in cardboard containers. Even if you have milk or baby formula boxes are there, they have to be discarded. So if there are any reusable commercially prepared cans and pouches are there, we have to remove the labels if they are removable. We have to brush it and wash it properly. We have to sanitize. We have to disinfect. We have to wash the cans with soap and water using hot water. We have to kill the germs. Rinse the cans and pouches with water that is safe for drinking if available. So we have to sanitize cans and pouches in 1 or 2 ways. Place them in a solution of 1 cap of 240 ml of unscented household bleach in 5 gallons of water for 15 minutes or so. Submerge that in a pot of water, bring to boiling condition and continue to boiling for 2 minutes. We have to relabel the pouches. We have to include the expiry date. This has to be properly mentioned. So we have to use the food in a reconditioned cans as possible. We have to use it only with the proper dates. So feeding the infants are very important, and tap water is not at all safe. So for formula feed infants, use ready to use feed formula if possible. And if using ready to feed formula is not possible, it's best to use bottled water to prepare powdered or concentrated formula. When you tap water, it's not safe. If bloated water is not available, bottled water is not available, check with the local authorities to learn the status of the drinking water that is available to you, whether it has been boiled for some time and sanitized. Especially for cleaning the bottles of the feeds, it's better to use sanitized water. So cleaning and sanitizing whatever the vessels, the containers which are coming in with the contact should be properly handled. So health of the people. So it can be seen after a disaster has happened, many of the people their health would have been affected. So they have to be properly. It also gives rise to not only physical pain, there is also emotional pain. So immediate treatment of the physical wounds are advised, and as soon as possible they have to be taken with a lot of care. So first aid is very crucial to be provided for people. Poster disaster health potential to reduce and aggravate the pandemic. So emergency operations is very important. So once there is any pandemic or anything, we have to, once a pandemic strikes, it can aggravate. It has to be, the potential of the pandemic has to be reduced by proper, distancing has to be followed. Adequate medical kits, bandages, tapes, and medicines, over-the-counter medicines, oxygen cylinders, PPE kits, ventilators have to be properly given. So medical and paramedical staff members, deployment of trained personnel are essential. So mobile chargers, battery banks and torchlights have to be properly used. Sanitation or waste management is one of the important things that has to be taken care of. So we have to assess the population, the number of people who are to be given sanitation. Accordingly, we have to provide toilet facilities for them. So when so many people are there, it has to be, they have to have proper sanitation facilities have to be given. So in situ emergency responses, it is addressed to people staying in or close to their homes after an emergency situation. Earthquakes or urban flooding event could, for instance, induce an emergency response of an in situ target population where people stay in close to their homes. So in situ emergency response is a response that is provided to people who are in the same area. Ex situ emergency response is addressed for people who have temporarily left their house, they are displaced, settled, they are far away from their house. Settlements generally fall into one of the three categories: highly dispersed settlements or lost their homes; mass shelters, where we move the people for schools or warehouses or mosques, mostly in urban areas; self-settlements, spontaneous camps, or previously planned camps can be used. People living in ex situ after an emergency event have the status of internally displaced person, and they are treated as refugees in the cross international borders as well. So these are latrines that are there. So makeshift deep trenches are made in order to provide latrine facilities for a lot of people who are in distress, who are after the effect of disaster. Shallow trench latrines can also be built as shown in the figure, so that many people can make use of it. So we have to have hand washing facility near that latrines. So this is a shallow family latrine this you are seeing, and also there are also bucket latrines, containers for defecation, and also chemical toilets. Sodium hydroxide can be used, and packet latrines can also be used depending upon the number of people. If it's going to be large in number, it has to be provided. This is a simple pit latrine. Ventilation improved pit latrine are all shown. So shelters, people during the times of pandemics, huge number of people, they have to be displaced, and they have to be kept in proper distancing so that they don't become sources of infection affecting more and more people. So providing disaster relief shelters are very important role in the disaster response and recovery phase. So disaster relief shelters should be used to provide private and secure places for people so that they can have their accommodations very safely. And disaster relief shelters not only provide immediate, and also they are the short-term shelters. They help to recover from the trauma of a disease, as well as provide as a base to start the process of rehabilitation. Locally available materials and skills, cultural and social issues, delays, cost constraints, and poor location selection of disaster relief shelters have each been identified as a source of poor performance, contributing to an unacceptable standard of living. Moreover, there seems to be a lack of insufficient consideration with regard to the design of disaster relief shelters for the future storage. Institutional arrangements is the mitigation phase, response and preparedness that have to be taken by the government to properly avert the effects of the disaster. Thank you.